Already.
All right. Okay. Welcome to Accountability and Hopeful Friday. Today we have awesome session plan, but before we start, some stats here. We had 59 sessions so far, 93 guest speakers, 241 members landed jobs, and 2400 plus members, 2400 plus members on LinkedIn and counting. Tremendous growth we had since last couple months, and we have taken $0 from any members till date. We're still non-profit. We give until it hurts. Really, I promise you. But we do got sponsorships. Maro is our sponsors, and we are so happy that accountability volunteering team got it done. So thank you for all of your help, especially Jimmy and Patricia, who led those efforts. Speaking of growth, we this is our dashboard, which tells us different social media stats. And without further ado, I want us to introduce today to Allison Messana. Um, she is a director of executive search at CRG in Charlotte, North Carolina. Strategic business development professional with over a decade of experience in IT and service industries. Her expertise lies in bridging gap between immediate staffing needs and long-term leadership placements. Alison emphasizes on culture of understanding, on your own personal why. And I had a just brief chat with her, and I can just see that there's a lot to learn from her. So I can't wait for all of you to learn from her. She focuses on aligning your individual goals with how with team strategies and how you can achieve the collective success as a company, and also foster your individual goals. So I'm super excited to hear from her. Ali, can you please share one piece of insider knowledge that many job seekers might not be aware of? Floor is yours. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for joining
absolutely.
us today.
So excited to be here. Thank you for that introduction, Rahul. So I'm Allison, or Allie. I'm with CRG and I lead the sales and business development team. I work really close with hiring managers and candidates across IT, data, professional services roles, really nationwide, including executive search. Big part of my job is really sitting in the middle of the hiring process. So understanding what the managers actually want and then helping candidates like everyone on this call navigate how to get in front of them. So that leads me to chat about the one piece of insider knowledge that I wanted to share with everyone today is not all recruiting firms have the same level of access to every role. And what I mean by that is a lot of candidates assume that if a recruiter submits them, they must be working directly with the hiring manager. But in many cases, the recruiter is actually submitting your resume into a blind system, just like you would be submitting your resume to a blind system or posting on LinkedIn. So there's many layers between a resume and a end client. And sometimes if you're not asking the right questions, you don't really know where you stand. So one of the smartest questions when you're working with a recruiter or even someone within HR is, are you working directly with the hiring manager on this role? And that really gives you a much clearer idea of your chances on even getting your resume reviewed. If a recruiter or that sales team is working directly with the hiring manager, especially if it is within a blind system, they're going to have the ins and outs specific to that role, not just about the skill set, but about the culture and the dynamic of the team. So understanding if it's, hey, did you just see a job description in a system and thought I'd be a good fit? That's still a good thing. You should still submit your resume, but I hate seeing folks get so upset sometimes when they're like, oh my gosh, I've worked with 5 recruiters and they've submitted me to 20 positions and I've gotten no feedback. Well, the question I would ask that person is, are you working directly with that hiring manager? And another question many people forget to ask is, who is the actual decision maker in this hiring process? And at what stage will I meet them? A lot of candidates we work with go through 3, 4, sometimes 5 rounds of interviews, especially for full-time positions. And by the time you get to the end of the interview process, you're finally meeting that decision maker and you are like drained of everything inside of you. You're getting asked the same questions. You're maybe a little annoyed when you should be like on your P's and Q's for that interview because that's the decision maker. But a lot of times you don't know that. So the other piece of this is understanding, making sure you're understanding that culture. So just so everyone knows, I actually went through a big job change recently. I left my job of 11 years last May and took some time off. There were some leadership changes, so I decided it was time for me to make a jump. But within that process, I was sitting there thinking, do I make a career shift? Do I go back into the same industry? What do I do next? And the thing that I did the most is exactly what everyone's doing here today is networking. But making sure that within your network, you're asking the right questions. When you're getting connected to somebody, asking for a follow-up, asking for coffee, getting in front of the people face to face and making sure that you're getting in front of that decision maker who's actually pulling the trigger on hiring that next person, and also understanding what are your odds on actually getting this role, and asking those questions will be able to give you more of an inclination and intel as far as whether you're going to have a shot at the position or if it's just you're submitting your resume blind in the system just like anybody else. So I went through this process and I leaned in heavy to my networking, went to a lot of networking events. But really, I just leaned into the people that I've been with on my journey along the way. So I actually connected back with one of my buddies that I used to compete against in sales. And I knew he worked for a company that they had really great people. So that's another thing that I did in my journey is I made a pros and cons list of my non-negotiables of what I needed in my next role. And then the things that maybe I could flex on. And once I sat there and I looked at that list, I knew that I had several people in my network that would fit my non-negotiables that I could talk to, bounce ideas off of, and see if there was anything in their environment going on that they could potentially connect me to. And I think when you look at your non-negotiable list and you're asking the right questions and you're asking for help from your community and connecting with the folks that you've been in the trenches with, more connections come from that and you branch out. The next biggest thing is the follow-up within that. If I had not followed up with the gentleman that I spoke with and said, hey, can we connect? Like I actually did leave my job finally. He was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. But if I didn't follow up with him, he would have never reached out to me and said, hey, did you finally leave that job 10 years later? So making sure you're following up with your network, even when maybe you're not in the market, but that might be a connector to things that you could see future state. And then really just leaning into the current relationships that you have. A lot of people want to help, but a lot of people won't help unless you ask. So asking for help and asking your best people, and then asking the questions to the team that you're working with or teams. A lot of folks work with multiple staffing agencies or multiple recruiters. So understanding kind of where you stand in their priority list of, are you working direct with managers? Maybe some managers they work directly with, but some clients that they're supporting, it's a blind system and no one's going to have access to that. But at least understanding, so that way when I know one of the gentlemen on this call, I forget what his name was, chatted, it was a rough week in the search week this week. And I hate that. And I wonder, are you asking those questions? Do you understand kind of where you stand when you're submitting your resume or talking to a recruiter, what their relationships look like? Because their relationships are an extension of you at that point. So that's my little spiel and my little intel to kind of things that you guys can do differently. If you're not doing them already, maybe a lot of you are, and that's amazing. But would love to open up the floor for any questions around that topic as well.
Thank you so much, Ali. I mean, I could not stop taking notes, and my hand hurts because I'm so sick. But I keep taking notes. It was really, really awesome guidance. We thank you for you being here, and now we open for Q&A. Jimmy.